There have been talks about the possibility of Runescape 4 releasing in the future, especially after Xmod Shawnee accidentally leaked something known as Runescape Next Gen, later confirmed by multiple JMods to be part of an internal company presentation. But all that really was an introduction slide. Today I'm going to be showing you some leaked development footage of something that could very well be Runescape 4, so whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I found out about this development footage thanks to RS Unreleased on Twitter, also known as Gaga Lady. Once I realized what I was looking at, I was in complete awe. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this footage clip by clip. In the first clip of this development footage created in Unreal Engine 4, we can see a generic MMO attack system that ends off the animation chain with a final attack in a variety of different ways, including a jumping slam. Now this seems very impressive if this is going to be something new for RuneScape, and it is, but it is very similar and lots of MMOs have something like this. Take for example Black Desert Online. Now this player or character in this footage seems to be wearing something similar to the Vanguard minigame armor because you can see two horns on the player's head. I'm not so confident I know what kind of weapon the player or character is using because it doesn't look like something we have in game. Maybe the Ornate Katana, but I wouldn't be so sure. It's also worth noting that this developer has some kind of combat images on their website known as Heavy Attack 2, Quake, an ability we know in RuneScape, and Thunderstorm. Next up we have three animations with the Merethu NPC model which look very unfamiliar to me. For those that don't know, Merethu is the NPC that sits at the entrance and is the NPC inside the Solak boss fight. To me the spells look mainly defensive, especially that green shield attack or spell. The ice one looks like a defensive spell as well, but it could be an offensive spell for close range. It definitely is an ice barrage because ice barrage would not look like that. And the final spell to me looks like some kind of self or group buff. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, but these spells look really smooth. These animations look crisp compared to, well, what we have now. However, next up, I think we can all recognize these are the four basic elemental spells, most likely Bolt or Strike, from air, water, earth, and fire. And wow, these look really, really good. Just look at those spell hits with those pillars. Just wow. Imagine if our spells look like this. But at the same time, we do have abilities, so you don't really ever see the auto casts unless you're 4-ticking or it's the first attack in your rotation. Also notice how they're using the Merethu NPC for this as well, probably because we only have a few HD models in the game, one of those being Merethu, and they're still working on their character rework. Next up we have some kind of werewolf attacking a pillar, showing off some monster animations, unless they plan to make this a character, which I kind of hope they don't, because that would be weird. I mean, there is a chance that they're working towards some kind of extra game with classes that actually are non-human, but I think this is unlikely. This is probably some kind of monster animation. Next up, another familiar sight, Crassian Leviathan. But this time, he's puking some kind of cosmic energy instead of his usual acid breath, or green death goo, or 7-Up, or... No, but seriously, why are they reworking the animations of Crassian Leviathan? Are they working on a new version of it? Or are they actually reworking the entire game in Unreal Engine? Next up we have some kind of eruption fire animation which looks very, very familiar to me when I think about the Melee Rex matriarch slapping his tail on the ground. We then have some impressive looking water and fire animations which look miles better than what we have now for both fire and water, especially water because, well, I think the water animations in RuneScape are somewhat lacking compared to other games. I do not think this dam-like construction is in the current game, but it does look like something that could be from Ashdale. Now, I didn't think of that myself. A Discord member by the name of Maka said that this looks similar to some Ashdale stuff, and I can kind of see why. The final clip in this development footage looks like something we definitely don't have in the current game, although I could say that the left section kind of looks like a League Dungeon 2, aka the Dragon King Laboratory, but it really doesn't. It just reminds me of it, basically. Now, the left section looks like some kind of open dungeon temple thing. That's why it reminded me of the Dragon King Laboratory. And the section to the right looks like some kind of huge mushroom environment with some kind of orb or portal in the middle. And this could be some kind of Zygamite biome. I have no clue. Maybe there's a Zygamite boss. It looks like there's some kind of egg or round rock inside that portally effect thing around it. I'd really like to know what you guys think these two areas could be in the comments below. Now, this particular development footage was uploaded to Vimeo about 3 months ago. If we take a look at the portfolio website of this particular developer that created these assets, it states that she has been a VFX artist at Jagex since the end of 2018, so close to 3 years now. Something that caught my attention immediately after is that this particular developer's previous work experience seems to be for mobile games only, including Devilian, BNS Mobile, and Bless Mobile. Could this mean that the footage we've just seen is a prototype for another RuneScape mobile game? Or is it RuneScape 4 or RuneScape Remaster? On her website, the footage is titled "The VFX Prototype Works for RuneScape, Aftermath at Jagex." Now, if you've been following Jagex pretty actively, you do know that they were working on an Unreal Engine 4 game. But that game is already out there. It's known as Space Punks, and I do have a review on it. This doesn't necessarily mean that this was the only Unreal Engine game Jagex was working on. They could, at this moment, be working on that RuneScape Aftermath game. And I think the possibility of it being a next-gen version of RuneScape or a graphical rework is very likely if it manages to stay off the shelf. The reason I say stay off the shelf is because there are other projects like the Unity version of RuneScape called Aurora, which was some kind of RuneScape remaster, which basically disappeared into thin air. The only good archived footage I can find is on the Large Gat's YouTube channel, which showcases this and some Reddit comments from JMods confirming it was actually real. This does show that even though there's a prototype or even an intro trailer or some kind of footage, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a real thing anytime soon, but there is of course always that possibility. And the fact we're seeing footage of something that actually resembles RuneScape, or better said, things we already have in game like Merethiel's model and Crassian Leviathan, is somewhat reassuring to me. Our imaginations can now go wild about what RuneScape 4 could be like, how combat would feel, how pretty the environment could look, and much more. This is exactly why I've wanted to share this footage so badly, because I think it's incredibly interesting to any RuneScape player. Sadly, I was pretty sick for the past 8 days or so, something you can probably still hear my voice. If it wasn't for that, I would have shared this footage in a video form much sooner. With all of that being said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, and if you like RuneScape content, be sure to subscribe. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.